2, 3, ha! Look at Mr. Lee. 3, 4, 5, ha!
Jesse James wore a mask. A lot of good that did people.
What I saw was fun. Never anything inappropriate. What I saw was work.
What happened to Phylicia Rashad, the beloved star of The Cosby Show? She is now 76, but why is her life so sad? Did fame bring her happiness, or did it come with struggles? How is she living today, and what challenges has she faced over the years? Is her story one of heartbreak or resilience?
I will not raise my daughter differently than my mother raised me. The rearing I got from my mother, words cannot express. I could live in any time, I could live in any country, I could live on any planet, and I would be fine.
Let's explore the life of this iconic actress and what led to her current situation. Phylicia was born to shine. From a young age, she had talent and determination.
Show me something. And what is? And knees up.
Her career started in theater, where she wowed audiences with her acting. It wasn't long before Hollywood noticed her. When she landed the role of Claire Huxtable, the world fell in love with her charm, grace, and intelligence. She wasn't just acting, she was showing what a strong, caring mom could be like on TV. But life isn't always smooth. She faced challenges in her personal life. She's been open about moments that hurt her, like when someone once told her she was second string. Instead of letting that break her, Phylicia used it as fuel to keep going. She believed in herself and stayed focused on her dreams.
You have to start with yourself and accept the circumstances of your life and accept them as your own. Accept them as your own creation. Accept them as your own karma. Accept them as your own truth, as your own work that you are given to do in this lifetime, and deal with it from there.
Her family is also a big part of her story. Her children admire her not just as a mom, but as a person. Her daughter once said, "There's so much more to her than being my mother." Phylicia taught her family important lessons, not just through words, but by how she lived her life, with strength, kindness, and wisdom. Even now, she continues to inspire people. She teaches us to follow our own path and not compare our journey to anyone else's. She shows that life may have bumps, but if you stay true to yourself, you can achieve amazing things.
Start with yourself. Start by taking time with yourself to just sit quietly in a day, to just be still and not let all the concepts and all the ideas and all the mental constructs wear you down.
Phylicia Rashad, born on June 19, 1948 in Houston, Texas, grew up during a tough time in America. Legal segregation, but her life was anything but ordinary. Her mother, Vivian Allen, was a powerhouse. She was a poet nominated for a Pulitzer Prize and a strong voice in the cultural world. One of her most famous works is the poem Hawk, an inspiring story of freedom connected to spaceflight. It was published on July 11, 1957, just before the Soviet Union launched its Sputnik satellite. Vivian described it as a journey of transcendence, or rising above challenges. Pretty deep, right? With a mom like that, you just know she was set to do great things. Phylicia grew up with her older brother Andrew, nicknamed Tex, and her younger sister, the talented Debbie Allen.
Right here is where you start pain and sweat. I want to see sweat.
But life took a big turn when their mom decided to move the family to Mexico. Why Mexico? Because Vivian wasn't about to let her kids suffer under the harsh racism and segregation of 1950s Texas. Moving to Mexico City was a game changer. Imagine being 13, leaving everything you know, and finding yourself in a place where people love the color of your skin. Phylicia recalled how Mexicans would call her negrita, little black girl, as a term of endearment. She finally felt celebrated for her beauty. Their father, Dr. Andrew A. Allen, was an orthodontist, meaning the family had some stability and comfort. Their home was full of creativity and intellectual energy. Between their mother's art and their father's discipline, she and her siblings grew up in a world that valued both education and expression.
I will not raise my daughter differently than my mother raised me. The rearing I got from my mother, words cannot express. I could live in any time, I could live in any country, I could live on any planet, and I would be fine.
Phylicia was born on the back porch of a farm in Lobdell, Louisiana. She came from a big family, one of 10 children, though sadly only 9 survived. She worked hard to build her future, graduating from St. Augustine College and later earning her degree from Howard University School of Dentistry. But her childhood wasn't all smooth sailing. When she was young, her parents divorced. Back in those days, divorce was a big deal and often seen as shameful. It was a tough time for her family. Her mom became a single parent and worked tirelessly to give her children the best education and cultural opportunities she could. Her mom didn't let challenges stop her, and neither did Phylicia.
My mother gave us aphorisms to learn as children. And there are two that stand out foremost in my mind. One is, the inner reality creates the outer form. I learned this when I was in grade school.
You probably remember Phylicia as Claire Huxtable, the picture-perfect TV mom from The Cosby Show. Remember the famous line, "Sandra, you owe us $79,200? But before landing that iconic role, she had to struggle. The world wasn't always welcoming to women of color, especially in acting. Phylicia started on Broadway, where her talent shined. She performed in shows like Dreamgirls. Long before Beyoncé made the role famous, her acting was powerful and heartfelt, yet many people didn't give her the credit she deserved. Life wasn't always easy, but she didn't let anything stop her. From her humble beginnings on a farm porch to becoming a beloved actress. When The Cosby Show hit TV screens in 1984, it changed everything. Phylicia became a household name as Claire Huxtable, a smart, classy, and strong wife and mom. Claire wasn't just a TV character. She became the symbol of what many admired. She wasn't afraid to stand her ground, often doing so with grace and humor. Remember when she told her child about using a mask to avoid sickness? She made a simple point, but did it with style. The show wasn't just about laughs. It showed love, family, and marriage in a way that felt real. Claire and Cliff Huxtable's relationship was full of respect, love, and teamwork. Many people looked up to them as the perfect TV couple. But behind the scenes, The Cosby Show wasn't all smooth sailing. Bill Cosby, the show's creator, later faced scandals that clouded its legacy.
The fall from grace of a living American legend 50 years in the making. Bill Cosby's alleged questionable behavior had gone largely unnoticed for decades. But why does it seem to have hit center stage only now?
The allegations against Bill Cosby stretched back to the 60s, but didn't make major waves until the 2000s. In 2005, Andrea Constand accused him of drugging and assaulting her in Pennsylvania. Though there was a trial, no charges were pressed, and the case was settled quietly. But in the following years, over 60 women came forward with similar accusations, saying Cosby used his fame to lure them into situations where they were assaulted or drugged. In 2014, comedian Hannibal Buress reignited attention with a joke about Bill's history, sparking more women to share their stories. In 2015, Janice Dickinson accused Cosby of drugging and her in the 80s, which led to more media coverage. Major outlets like the New York Times and the Washington Post delved deep into the case.
I can talk down to you because I had a successful sitcom. Yeah, it was great women, Bill Cosby, so kind of brings it down a couple notches.
In 2016, Bill was charged with aggravated indecent assault against Andrea Constand, and the trial included testimony from other women, showing a pattern of behavior. Cosby was convicted in 2018 and sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, marking a big moment for the Woidy or Nas Me Too movement. But in 2021, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his conviction, saying the prosecutor had violated a previous agreement. The charges were dismissed, and Bill was released after serving only 3 years, sparking backlash from survivors and advocates who saw it as a setback for justice. Cosby's supporters, however, called it a correction of a legal mistake.
Bill Cosby has served more than 2 years in a high-security prison near Philadelphia, but in the last few hours, he's been freed. Pennsylvania's Supreme Court today quashed his sexual assault conviction on the grounds that evidence given by 5 witnesses during his retrial should never have been admitted.
When the accusations against Bill started making headlines, it shattered the image of a man once celebrated as America's dad. For Phylicia, who worked closely with Bill for years and considered him a friend. It was a tough and super awkward spot to be in, with everyone watching her every move. When more women started speaking out in 2015, Phylicia grabbed attention with a bold claim that the accusations were all about taking down Bill Cosby's legacy. She stood by him, calling the allegations a coordinated attack to erase his impact on entertainment in the Black community. Her comments stirred up major debate. Some thought her loyalty was admirable, but others slammed her for seeming to dismiss the serious claims and the survivors' stories. After Bill's conviction got tossed out on a technicality, and he walked free.
Cosby, now 83, was one of the most high-profile convictions of the early Me Too movement. He was found guilty of drugging and the ex-basketball player Andrea Constant in 2004.
Phylicia posted a tweet celebrating the news, calling it a terrible wrong being righted. That post lit a firestorm of backlash. Critics called her out for being tone deaf and accused her of ignoring the bigger conversation about. The heat was especially intense since she was the dean of the College of Fine Arts at Howard University, where a lot of students and alums felt her comments didn't align with the school's values.
Best known as America's Mom from her role on The Cosby Show. 3 years ago, she gained yet another title, Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Howard University.
Facing mounting pressure, she issued an apology. In her statement, she clarified that her intent was not to dismiss the pain of survivors and emphasize her support for those who have experienced sex. She promised to engage in conversations with the Howard University community to address concerns and deepen her understanding of the issues. Now let's talk about Phylicia Rashad's real life, which had its share of ups and downs. Her journey wasn't just about acting, it was also about love, heartbreak, and finding herself. In the early 1970s, she was starting her acting career. She married William Lancelot Bowles Jr., a dentist, in 1972. Together, they had a son, William III. For a while, everything seemed perfect. But then cracks started to show. She revealed that her husband once said, "Why don't you face it? You're just second string." Those words hurt deeply, and she knew their marriage couldn't last. By 1975, they divorced, and she moved on, ready for a fresh start. In 1978, she married Victor Willis, the lead singer of the Village People. You know, the YMCA guy. This marriage was a surprise to many. How do you go from a dentist to a disco star? For a time, their relationship seemed exciting and fun, but behind closed doors, it was a different story. Rumors swirled about Victor struggling with personal issues, including substance problems. Sadly, their marriage didn't last, and they eventually went their separate ways. Despite the challenges in her personal life, she stayed strong and focused on her career.
Make a lot of money, and you look good for your age.
In 1982, she was married again, but that didn't last long. She wasn't here for that, and they called it quits. But hold on. The third time's the charm, right? In 1985, Phylicia walked down the aisle again, this time with sports broadcaster Ahmad Rashad. And this wedding? Oh, it was something out of a movie. Ahmad popped the big question in a big way. He proposed to Phylicia live on TV during a halftime show on Thanksgiving Day, and he did it with a huge diamond ring. The proposal was sweet and unforgettable. Ahmad asked the world to help him ask Phylicia, saying, "There's a lady that I'm in love with, and I'd like to send this message to her. Phylicia, will you marry me?" Of course, Phylicia said yes. The whole country was watching, and everyone swooned. They were the it couple in the 80s and 90s. They even had a daughter together, Phylicia Rashad, who is now a talented actress herself. It was a perfect love story for many. But like any Hollywood romance, their relationship had its problems. Despite being together for nearly 16 years, rumors about infidelity started to surface. Ahmad, a former football star and TV personality, was often in the spotlight. With so much attention, temptation was always nearby, and the tabloids were ready to report on every detail of their lives. In 2001, after years of marriage, Phylicia and Ahmad decided to go their separate ways. Phylicia had been married 3 times by then, but she doesn't regret any of it. She's been open about how each marriage taught her something new. In fact, she once said, "I've been married 3 times, but I don't feel that I've ever been married once." She learned a lot from her experiences, but one thing is clear: she's living her best life today. Fast forward to today, and Phylicia is still going strong. She's been busy with TV roles, including a memorable part on This Is Us, and playing a no-nonsense mom on Empire. Hollywood loves Phylicia for her strong-willed characters, and she brings them to life in a way only she can. But that's not all. Phylicia has come full circle, returning to her roots at Howard University. She's now the Dean of the College of Fine Arts, where she went to school. It's an exciting new chapter for her, who started out as a student there and is now shaping the future of other students. Her journey from a Howard graduate to a Hollywood star is inspiring, and it shows that no matter where you start, you can end up doing amazing things.
Start with yourself. Start by taking time with yourself to just sit quietly in a day. To just be still and not let all the concepts and all the ideas and all the mental constructs wear you down.
What's next for Phylicia? Maybe a fourth husband? Who knows? But one thing is for sure: she's always keeping us entertained and showing us how to thrive, no matter what life throws our way. After all these years, she went back to her roots as the new dean of Howard University's College of Fine Arts, like I mentioned earlier. That's right, the same place she went to school. She gives back to the next generation of artists and making sure the arts are alive and well at one of the best historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, in the country. Phylicia is a woman on a mission, and at 70-something years old, she's still making huge moves. Let's talk about the money, because we know you're curious. Her net worth is around $25 million. That's right, $25 million. She's earned it through her acting roles, endorsement deals, and those sweet, sweet checks from the Cosby Show reruns. Even with all that money, she doesn't flash her wealth. You won't catch her showing off diamonds or hopping on private jets. She keeps things low-key, and that just adds to her charm and mystery. But here's the real question: how is she aging so well? Have you seen her lately? She still looks just as stunning as she did in the 80s. People are always wondering what her secret is. Maybe it's good genes, a little Hollywood magic, or just a lot of grace. Whatever it is, Phylicia is showing us that age is just a number. So, what is Phylicia Rashad doing today? She's staying busy mentoring young talent, making occasional appearances on screen, and doing who knows what to keep herself looking fabulous. She's still the queen we've always known her to be. And even though she's in the spotlight, she hasn't forgotten her roots. She still speaks up about what matters to her, whether that's supporting the arts, encouraging young people at HBCUs, or just telling her truth when needed. In a world where many celebrities fade after a few years, Phylicia Rashad has kept her star shining bright. Sure, she's had her share of ups and downs like everyone else, but it's how she handles life that makes her unforgettable. Yes, there has been drama in her past, some of it messier than others, but Phylicia has always stayed unbothered, unshakable, and, most importantly, iconic. We can only hope that when we reach our 70s, we're still out here breaking barriers and looking as flawless as Phylicia Rashad. She truly shows us that age isn't stopping her from being a boss.